If you're the type of person who has a lot of ambition but you just can't stop being lazy, this video is very specifically for you. And if you're watching this, God has literally sent this video to you for a reason. And you will thank me after this, and I'm very confident you will, because I'm making a very big promise and a very bold promise to you. By the end of this video, your life will change. And I'm sorry if I sound cringe like every one of those self improvement wannabe YouTubers. But I promise by the end of this video, your life will change. If you're someone who has wasted a lot of time in 2025, maybe you haven't been productive, you have goals, but you haven't achieved any of those things. You're trying to be productive, you're ambitious, but you just can't seem to do anything. I will teach you exactly how to work hard on a day to day basis without having to do any of those stupid self improvement habits, without having to journal every single day. And like, I'm not going to tell you, like, maybe you should stop scrolling on Instagram or some stupid shit like that. I'm going to give you the exact systems and frameworks you require to actually work hard every single day. Why should you even listen to me? If you're new to this channel, why is it that I'm such a young dude is talking so obnoxiously and confidently to me? Well, I've this is like a beautiful picture of me when I was a child. My name is Rohit basically. I'm 17, I'll be 18 in a couple of months, and I run a company called as RVI Media. You can search it up on Google if you want to know exactly what I do. Basically, I run a business and I help service-based business owners build a brand on YouTube, just like I'm doing right now. And I went from like a complete idiot to doing these things, and I can confidently say I produce more work every morning than what the average person does in a singular day. The average person who's my age or probably your age, I'm confident I can do more work, I can produce more results in in just a morning than most people do in an entire day. And I went from a complete gaming addict to actually growing a channel to 23,000 subscribers. We're closing around 24k. I'm not going to tell you to subscribe, by the way. What we're going to cover today, all right? What we're going to cover today are these things, all right? We're going to cover the psychology. We're going to cover psychology, negative vision. All right, let me just get a pen here. All right, we're going to cover psychology and negative vision. We're going to cover the Warmap, the most important task, quarterly planning, vital behaviors, time tracking, distractions, the best routine to follow, your diet, abuse this thing, which is going to be very interesting, and trust activities. Now, you might be wondering what are these things that we're talking about? This is exactly why this video is going to change your life, because it's not self-improvement habits that I'm talking about. So the first thing I want you to understand is that you will never ever be motivated to work towards something if it is not because of pain. So look at me. You need pain. You need to motivate yourself with pain. Nothing else matters more than pain. Now let me give you an example and an analogy for you to understand this better. Let's just say if you are trying to like stop eating junk food, right? This is a good habit you want to inculcate in your life. You want to stop eating junk food. Now let's just say that you set a goal that I'm going to be fit and I want to eat healthy, and you're sitting there and motivating yourself like, oh my god, I need to be healthy because being healthy is going to make me very happy. This motivation might just last like a few minutes, right? But how about if I flip this scenario and I tell you that if you eat junk food today, you're going to get a beating. Like someone's literally going to come up and break your nose. And let's just say you like eat junk food and you break your nose. What do you think is going to happen the next time you're tempted to eat junk food? You probably like wouldn't eat junk food, right? Because you want to avoid the physical pain that will happen, the consequence that will happen. And that is the key point here. Most people are here to try and they try to motivate themselves with the end goal, the vision, the positive thing, but you need to motivate yourself with pain. You need pain to move away from. People don't move towards pleasure, people move away from pain. This is a basic psychological understanding of human behavior. We tend to move away from pain, not only towards pleasure. Forget the goal setting, focus on the consequence. This is very, very important. I want you to forget about like the setting the goals and monk mode and all of that shit. The reason why you fail monk mode and all of that shit is because you are focusing on the goal, not the consequence. You need to focus on the consequence. What you need is an anti vision for not achieving your goal. This is the most important point. You need an anti vision, which is basically a representation for not achieving your goal. So let me just tell you this. Just a few days ago, I was just struggling to work. All right. Let me just put myself in the middle. Look at me, bro. Just a few days ago, I was just struggling to work. And I'll be honest, I'm not perfect. Right. I do fail. And so I was struggling to work. And the reason being was I just, I was not able to focus and there was no drive inside me until I did this anti vision thing. And I cannot stress this enough. This tactic will literally be so effective. It will make you so much more productive. So what does it actually do? You need to be very clear with the consequential life you might live. What does that mean? What you need to do right now, so do this right now, right? Open a Google Doc on your laptop or whatever. Just write down somewhere the details of your life if you don't achieve your goals and don't work. The details of your exact life, if you just did not work every day, if you just don't achieve your goals, what would be the life that you would live? This is called as anti-vision. This is a vision you do not want to happen. So let me just tell you my anti-vision. It might, no offense to you if you live that life. I'm not meaning to disregard you. I actually really appreciate you watching this video because, you're sort of like the enlightened people. Anyways, my anti-vision is very simple and I'll describe this thing to you so you get a better understanding of how do you actually write this out. So I wake up at 8 a.m. and I get ready and I go in a bus and I'm traveling in a bus. I'm standing up because I couldn't get the seat because the bus is full. Then I go with the train and I go to office and I'm sitting there in the office for 8 hours a day and I'm really unhappy. I'm doing work which I don't like, honestly, but I don't have any other choice. I do not have any other choice. I come home, fight with my wife or something, and go to bed and just repeat this 6 times a week. This is not the life I would want to live, right? This is the anti-vision for me. But it is just this vision, this anti-vision, which actually motivates me to work because I don't want to live this life. And so I want you to open up any sort of document or maybe take a paper and a pen and just write down the details of the life you don't actually want to live. What would be the consequence? And you need to read this shit every morning because this shit should actually scare you. I did not want to record this video. It's like 2:15 p.m. I'm full. I'm like, my stomach is full. I've just eaten lunch. I feel sleepy. I didn't sleep properly last night. So I don't want to record this video. And I didn't want to record this video, I'll be honest. But before that, I just thought about the anti-vision and I couldn't help but work because the reason you're not able to work, this is a quote by Charlie Morgan and Sam Owens, is that you can't seem to work and focus because the pain of not achieving your goal is lesser than the pain of actually doing the work. If I actually had my anti-vision become a reality, I would be in so much more pain, and that pain greatly exceeds the pain of recording this video. That's why I'm recording this video. I hope this makes sense to you. This is a tactic which has genuinely changed my life. The next thing is to have a proper planner. Now, most people go wrong here. They do not use a proper planner. So you need to download the Warmap from below. So let me just show you what I mean by the Warmap. The Warmap is basically this. All right, this is called as the Warmap. Now, this is actually something Sam Owens, let me just make myself big, yeah. This is something that Sam Owens, I don't know if you know this dude, but he basically created this Warmap that basically everyone is using. And this is a 2025 Warmap. It's linked below in the description, by the way. And how do you use it is once you click the link, do not ask for editing permissions. Go in this, hit make a copy, right? And then just make the copy. All right, don't ask for editing permission. Everybody just keeps on asking that. So this is the Warmap here, right? And so this is basically like a bird's eye view of the entire 2025 year. And below here, as you can see, you have all of these things, right? So below here, you have January, then you have February and all of that stuff. Let me just move this. All right. I don't know why this is happening, bro. All right, so we basically have Jan, Feb, March, all of that stuff over here. And let me just get rid of this shit, dude. Yeah. Okay, sorry for that. So here you basically have a bird's eye view of the entire year. And you'll notice here we've got Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. I'll go in depth on what that actually means. But basically how you use this is that you want to look at the month you're having. Right? So we are around, what is today? Today is the 7th. So we're here today. Right? And you basically just want to map out the days on what you're working on. So as you can see, blue is board. So I've got my 12th grade board still here. Right? So we just map that out. Then here you've got the MVP launch for my product. So I just focus on these days on launching my product successfully and getting a lot of clients. And you basically just map out from a bird's eye view monthly, what do you do? And then what you do is you go into the months, very specific monthly wise here, and you just go to these days. So this is very accurate. You can see here, I've already done the work that I needed to do today. You might think this is like crazy small work, but this is just the business work I do. I do a lot of other stuff as well. So this is basically like a bird's eye view. So you basically just come in here, write down what you need to do. And what this does is that it helps you to have a clear planner on what you essentially just have to do on a month-to-month basis. You can also write down your main objectives over here. You can also write down the notes, if any. And the most fun part about this is that if you do not do a task, you can just put it towards the next day. Right? You can just do that, which is very advantageous. And you can basically just do this for the entire year. So that is why this is so advantageous, is because it just helps you so much more. And the dashboard basically is just going to give you a bird's eye view of everything. You can put specific colors here with what meanings they have, so that when you look at this, you know, like from these days I'm working on these things. Now Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4, if you don't already know, are the quarters of the year, right? If you're in business, you probably know what this means. But if you're not, it's basically like the year is divided into 4 quarters of 3 months each, right? So Jan, Feb, March is Q1. And subsequently, all of these are Q2 and Q3. So you basically just want to write down the goals for every single quarter of the year. So I've written down 2 here, that is launch Ascension, which is my product, and then book 50 sales calls, 50 qualified sales calls for Ascension. Right? These are the goals I have wanted to, or basically I want to achieve in Q1. Right? This is very important. I'm telling you, this is one of the most powerful things that you can use. Now, what you want to do now, once you've downloaded the Warmap, just copy that. Don't ask for editing access, please. The last time I released a document, people were continuously asking for editing access. Don't do that. The next thing you want to do is schedule your next day until you die. Just forget the spelling here. What you need to focus on, all right, is to schedule your day until you die. This is a skill. This is a tactic which not a lot of people use, but this will genuinely make you so much more productive, is because your brain loves ambiguity. What do I mean by that? Your brain loves ambiguity. So let me just tell you what I mean by that. All right. So let's just say this is the day that you have to achieve, right? If you just macro look at the day, let's just say this is the day you wake up here, you go to bed here, right? And let's just say to conquer this day, you have, let's just say, X amount of energy. You have X amount of energy to actually work towards your goals and work towards the thing that is important to you. What you want to avoid is ambiguity. Now, what does ambiguity even mean? Ambiguity is basically confusion. So your brain is such a huge powerhouse that the moment it has ambiguity, the moment you sit down and think, yo, I need to do this thing, what if I do this thing, what should I work on, you won't be able to be productive, because some part of this amount of total energy is being spent in thinking what to do, which is just so stupid. Right? If you just thought about this, let me give you an example. Let's just say there is a beginner who goes to the gym, right? There's this new dude who's going to the gym, and he's eaten pre-workout meals and he's very energetic, and he comes up and tells you like, yo, he's very energetic and stuff. You're like, wow, nice, this dude is doing pretty good. And instead of using his energy in his lifts, right, instead of doing a deadlift, which he's wanting to do for so long, he sits there and thinks about what exercise he must do. You will just tell him, right? Why are you being so stupid, right? You don't just come to the gym and just think like, okay, what should I do today, man? Big question, what should I do today? You don't actually do that, right? You have your gym time scheduled, you have your workout scheduled. The same way you need to schedule your days. Because every night when you go to sleep and you're actually scheduling your days, you don't realize how much brain power you're saving for yourself. And this tactic I used to not do, because I used to be like, oh, who will do all of this shit? But it works. It really, really works. Your brain loves ambiguity. We have to prevent that. So what you need to do is every night before you go to bed, all right, every night before you go to bed, schedule your day. Schedule your day ahead. Use the Warmap like I just showed you. Just put it daily, whatever tasks you need to do. Just put that, because the moment you get rid of that ambiguity, you will actually be able to do those things. And what you next need to do is find the 20% of work for your goals. Now, you might have heard about this concept beforehand as well, of the 80-20 rule, right? The 80-20 rule. In case you haven't, let me just give you a quick recap. What that means is that 20% of your 80% of your results come from 20% of the work. So whenever you're working towards a goal, whenever you want to work on something, you need to find out what are the key things that you need to do. The 20% of work which will actually get you the results. This is very, very important to understand, because if you cannot do this, you will have a lot of problems. For me, my 20% of work, especially related to like this channel and business itself, is scripting. All right, scripting and recording videos. That's it. Everything else can be put into this. If I just did all of this, all of these two things basically on a day-to-day basis, I will achieve my goal. This is like the 20% of work. Yes, I can check my emails. Yes, I can do all of that. Yes, I can reply to, I can do cold emails. And yes, I can do all of that stuff. But that is what I need you to understand, is that your attention must be put towards this one major thing. One to two few key activities that you just do every day. That is why in my Warmap as well, you notice that there was only two tasks, scripting and recording, because that's just all I do. Right? That's just all I do. You just have to focus on these key leverage activities. Now, how do you find these key leverage activities? Because a lot of people are very confused about that. What I would suggest you do, right, if you want to find these key leverage activities, is just tell ChatGPT about your goal. Right? Tell ChatGPT about your goal, and just specifically tell ChatGPT that if you had to achieve these goals and you had only an hour a week to prepare for this goal or to achieve this goal, what would you focus on? The moment you say that, it's going to give you a few key activities that you can do in an hour. That is the high leverage activities that you need to do, because these activities are what is going to get you actual results. So you need to find the 20% of work for your goals, and these are the vital behaviors you need to execute daily. Anything else other than this is just a waste of time, right? If you just if you spend your time doing some stupid shit which is not, it feels good because it's less effortless, it's just going to waste your time, your potential, and you basically are just wasting your day. These are the vital behaviors. This is a concept in psychology, you'll know. If you study psychology, you'll know that vital behaviors is basically few key behaviors that drive human change, or like behavioral change. So let me just give you an example, and let me just draw this point home. All right, let's just say this is the starting point, right? You're starting here and this is the ending point, right? And you just have to let time elapse. This is time on the x-axis, and y-axis is your efforts. We essentially just want to have this linear graph, right? We want to have this linear graph. It's not straight, obviously, but because I'm drawing with like a touchpad. But we want to have this straight linear graph to achieve our end result from our current situation. But the thing is, this is not actually how things work, right? Usually your results are going to be exponential. That means for majority of the time, you're not going to see any results, right? For majority of the time, you're never ever going to see any sort of results. So it's going to be very, very hard for you to actually deal with the situation, because there are no results. Now, this is where the point of these, the 20% of work comes into place, because let's just say it takes you 3 years to achieve your goal, right? Let's just say it takes you 3 years to achieve your goal. Now, no matter what you do, you're going to achieve it in these 3 years. So obviously, if I told you this example, you would be like, okay, well, then I want to work less, right? So if I told you like you'll get the most jacked body ever in just 3 years, no matter what you do, you would probably just want to do the easiest task, right? So let's just say there's like 10 different things you can do to achieve your goal. Let's just say there are 10 different things you can do to become jacked. I tell you, like, no matter what actions you do from these 10, it doesn't matter. You will still achieve your goals. achieve your goal in 3 years, but you need to do one of these. You need to do actions from 1 to 10 of these activities. So obviously, if you logically think, you'll be like, okay, then I want to work less, right? I want to put in less efforts to achieve that thing. So instead of focusing on 10 different things to achieve the goal in 3 years, you'll probably just focus on 1 to 2, right? That is the point I'm trying to make. These high leverage activities is what is going to drive results for you. You don't tell like a fat person the way you lose weight, bro, is to actually just drink a glass of water before 10 a.m. That's just stupid, right? You don't actually tell people that. The reason why is because it's not high leverage. You need to focus on high leverage activities right now. The next thing you want to do is download Toggle. Now, what is this? So I'll just go over here and I'll just show you what Toggle actually is. Alright, so Toggle it's basically like a free software you can use. It's basically going to help you track your time and the time you spend on your work. Now, I have messed this up a little bit, so forgive me if it looks really shitty, because I have messed up a little bit of the settings. So you can just watch another YouTube video about this. So basically what this does is that it helps you understand what are you working on. And forget about anything else. I don't really find that useful. What you can just do is you can add your time entry over here. And you have a lot of ways for you to actually see everything you do. So you can literally just see every week what are the things that you work on. You can look at the insights. Now, I've recently started using this and it is just one of the best things that I've found yet. Right? So download Toggle. It's toggle.com. You can just search it up on Google. You'll find Toggle. Basically, it is just used to track your time. So I think it's a very, very good, and it's free basically. So it doesn't really matter. It's just one of the best things that I've found because it has highly, highly helped me refocus and bring back my own attention. It'll help you get a bird's eye view of all the time you spent on some stupid shit. The next thing you need to do is cut off all micro distractions. Now, this is where things are going to get hard because you're going to cut off basically all of the distractions that, distract you. And this is why people lose focus, and even I sometimes lose focus. Let me just tell you this. This is the biggest tip you can have, by the way. This is not something I saw from a YouTube video. Your phone must be outside your FOV. You know FOV, right? If you've played video games, it's the field of view. Let's just say this is you. I'm looking at you from behind. This is your laptop. You're working on your laptop. This is, let's just say, your maximum field of view. Anything outside this, you don't know exists. Your phone must be outside your field of view. My phone literally is back here. Right? My phone is all the way back here. I don't have any notifications on. I don't basically, like, if people know me in real life, I don't really even pick up calls that much because I just don't keep any of those things on. And still, even if all of that stuff is outside and it's not turned on, it is still outside my field of view. The reason why you want to do that is because the easier it is, the closer it is in your field of view, the more you're tempted to, basically just go and get distracted. And this is a tip that I really, really want you to implement, like basically today itself, is that just keep your phone outside your field of view. You'll see the difference. You'll be able to focus much, much more better. Even in video games, if you just think about it, if there is an enemy over here, right, you don't know the enemy is there until they enter your field of view. This is your enemy. So you don't know about this enemy until it enters your field of view, until you interact and you can see it. So unless and until you don't see it, it doesn't bother you. And that is the key point here. It doesn't bother you unless and until you see it. And that is the key point I want you to do. Is just keep it outside your vision basically and just turn off all notifications. Nobody's texting your stupid ass, bro. Nobody's texting your ass, bro, that you actually need to keep these notifications on. Just turn it off. It doesn't matter. This is one of the best tips I have found. I've experimented this myself and I found this out myself. The next thing you need to do is create a non-time bounded morning routine. What does this mean? So if you've usually seen these self-improvement videos, they usually will talk about routines, right? So they'll tell you need to make a routine. So you wake up time, then meditate, then read, then deep work, then eat, read, blah, blah, blah. The problem with all of that is that once you make it time bounded, it becomes very hard to actually execute on those things. The reason why I say that is personally because of me. Let's just say you plan to wake up at 6 and you basically plan to wake up and just work for like 2 hours. You don't eat. This is your basic morning routine. And then at 8, you basically eat. Right? Let's just say this is the morning routine, which is time bounded. Now, let's just say instead of waking up at 6, you wake up at 10. Now, what do you do? Or let's just say you wake up at 8. Now, as per your timetable, you're supposed to eat, but you don't want to eat the first thing you wake up, right? You don't want to do that. So then what do you do? And so this is a problem I used to face was when I was waking up a little bit later than my usual time. I used to be very confused. Like, what do I follow? Do I follow the timetable or do I just go through like my original timetable, but without keeping track of time? The problem here is that once you have time bounded stuff, it becomes very, very hard to adjust. Instead, you want to have like a clear cut routine in which you're able to essentially just replicate it every single day. So mine is a very simple routine. I wake up at 5. I tend to wake up at 5. Okay. Instead of that, forget about the time. I wake up. All right. I wake up, then I work on the high leverage activities, and then I eat. And then I work again. Right? This is the morning routine, basically, you can say. I work again. This is my routine. It doesn't matter at what time. If I wake up at 10, I will still work. I will still eat. I will still do this. So it doesn't matter at what time I wake up. I just follow this routine. It's a very simple morning routine you can follow. If you don't really know like what's the best routine, just do this, right? You just wake up, work, and just eat, work, and just do that for the entirety of the day. And you need to cut off all micro distractions, like I previously said. So no content consumption like this. Okay, if you're consuming videos like this, when it's like a long form unedited video, it's fine. But if you're watching like shorts, and you just need to cut that off, because there is no point to that. If you're struggling to do that, you can let me know in the comments, and I'll make like a full length guide like this, exactly covering how to get rid of distractions as well. The next thing you need to do is just change your diet. I can't stress this enough, the most important thing ever. Your gut is your second brain. So let me just tell you something. I was traveling to Kerala, all right? So I was traveling to Kerala by train. And so it takes me about 22 hours to travel to Kerala, the south of India. And in those 22 hours, I'm personally have a lot of motion sickness, right? So I don't like traveling, first of all. And secondly, my body doesn't react well to traveling. I just don't, I feel nauseous as hell. I don't like anything. And so I remember after I reached Kerala, I was in a mall, and I was really like happy, I'm, a new place, new food. I'm eating a lot of chicken and I'm eating so much food right now. And that was the biggest mistake I've ever made in my recent years of existence. The reason why is because we had to travel the same day. And I kid you not, my stomach went so bad. It literally was just so bad. And my mood and my mental health, like everything was just ruined because of my gut. And this is very important. Your gut is your second brain. If the reason why you feel shit, the reason why you feel sad and depressed is because your stomach, your gut is just messed up. You eat shit food. So your brain and your body is focused on digesting this shit food, and it makes you feel like shit. Like that's the basic thing. Your gut is your second brain. So unless and until you fix your gut, you're not going to fix your brain. The reason why you get distracted, the reason why you can't work is largely because of your diet, because of your gut. And for God's sake, eat more protein. We Indians have this very bad tendency to just always eat carbs. We just absolutely love to devour carbs, don't we? Every one of our breakfasts is just filled with carbs. And I'm not shitting on carbs, by the way. I'm not saying carbs is not important. I'm saying is if your main goal is to become more productive, carbs are going to make you feel a lot more brain dead, because it takes a lot of time to digest. And this is the key point. It takes a lot of time for your brain, not for your brain, but your body to basically digest this food. And I cannot stress this enough. You need to eat more protein, especially when you're working. So I personally, every morning, if like in the routine I had said, I work and then I eat, right? So in that eat, I don't eat carbs, right? I don't eat carbs. I only eat protein. I just eat eggs. So I work, and then in this eat block, I used to eat a lot of like carb filled foods. But what I changed was I just started eating more protein here in this block. And guess what? My work was not affected. The moment I have carbs here, my work is just going downhill. It's just getting ruined. So for God's sake, just please, just eat more protein. And if your mom doesn't agree with this, if your mom is against this, just show her this video. Like, just show her this video, and you can just tell her, like, you're going to eat your carbs towards the end of your productive hours. So if you're, let's just say, you can work till like 4 p.m. and then you're just brain dead after that, just tell your mom, like, I'll have most of my carbs after 4 p.m. because then it's fine to have carbs, right? Then it's fine because you don't have to do any cognitively loading tasks. You just don't have to do that. So eat your carbs towards the end of your productive hours. This is a game changer. I cannot stress this enough. It will literally make you so much more productive. You'll notice the difference. The next thing you want to do is abuse coffee. Now, this is a personal preference. Maybe I'm also wrong about this. I don't know. But I personally have found out, I don't know how true this is, that every time I have a cup of coffee while I'm working, I'm able to be way more productive. The reason why I don't have coffee right now is because I'm recording, so I don't want to keep on sipping between recording these videos. But otherwise, if I'm just doing any sort of like normal tasks of like writing or like scripting or something, I usually have a lot of coffee. Not a lot of coffee, but I usually have coffee because I've personally been able to find that it gives a lot better ability. It gives you a better ability to like hone in on your focus. So if you're very distracted, just having a little bit of coffee will actually help you regain your focus fast. It doesn't help you sustain focus, it helps you regain it fast, which is absolutely essential. And the next thing you want to do is build trust with yourself. This is why you're unproductive. This is the biggest reason why you're unproductive. Is because I learned this from Sam Ovens, by the way. So shout out to him. This concept is really insane. The reason you are not able to be productive is because there is no trust. Trust between whom? There is no trust between your mind and your body. I want you to raise your hand right now. If you haven't raised your hand, that is the key thing that I'm trying to tell you. This is the reason why you're unproductive. Is because there is no trust between your mind and your body. If you tell your body, like, yo, raise your hand, and your hand is not raised, there is no trust your body has over what your mind says. So, of course, you can't work. Of course, you're going to struggle to work. Of course, you can't focus because there is no trust between your mind and your body. There is no trust. So, if you didn't raise your hands, by the way, when I just told you right now, that is why you're not able to be productive, because there is no trust. What you need to do is to build trust between yourself and between the mind and the body. And the more trust you can have, if you can just shake hands with yourself. If you just shake hands with yourself and just tell yourself like, yo, I'm just going to do this, and you actually do it, that is what we essentially want to reach, right? The point we want to reach is where we just tell ourselves like, okay, we just have to do this, and you just do it. And the way you do that is by winning small battles. You do that by winning small battles. So you don't just become productive and you just don't build this trust again by doing like a 10-kilometer marathon and you're just telling yourself like, yo, let's just run. It's actually about these small battles that happen every single day. So like I just said in this video, to raise your hand, that was a small battle. And if you didn't raise your hand, you lost, right? You lost. What you need to do is just pick a few key activities and just do them. You want to practice this. You want to practice your body reacting to what your mind says, especially what you say. And that is why I did the hand raising example, because it's very easy. So let's just say that, let's pick one habit, right? Let's just say after you wake up, you do one push-up. You just do one push-up. That is like the training thing that you do. Now, if your mind is telling you that you shouldn't do this, that is probably, you probably should do this. You just do one push-up. You just tell yourself one push-up, you just do it. And you just practice this every single day until it becomes second nature to you. Tell me how many people here actually have to motivate themselves to brush their teeth? Nobody, right? Why? Why do you not want to motivate yourself to brush your teeth? The reason why is because it's second nature to you. We want to do the same thing. We want to shake hands with ourselves and make work our second nature. And the way you do that is by winning these small battles. You win these small battles in which you're just, you are just training your body to listen to what you are saying. If you can just do this, just take these small battles, like do small activities. If you want, just tell yourself like, just stand up right now, sit down, just do it. Just train your body to listen to what your mind says. And I'm telling you, this is going to be a game changer. If you just practice this enough, You'll reach a point wherein you just tell yourself like, yo, just work right now, and you will work because your body has to respond to it. That is the key point that you need to do. And raise your hand. Come on. If you still haven't raised your hand, you need to seriously do it, bro. You need to watch this video again. I hope you raise your hand right now. And congratulations. Now you can actually focus and work hard. If you just apply all of the steps that I've talked about in this exact video, if you just apply all of these steps, you'll actually be able to work hard on a day-to-day basis. It will take time, obviously, but you have to put in the work. If you want, just watch this video again to really drill this point home, because if you understand this, it will absolutely change your life. Now, I hope I've done a good enough job to convince you to actually listen to what I have to say. You can see my product if you want in the description. You don't have to buy it. Most people watching this video can't even buy it, but if you're interested to just see what I'm working on, you can see the description. Also subscribe while you're at there and check the description for the link of the Warmap and stuff. Subscribe. Don't sacrifice your future self for the pleasure today. Peace.